You are now tuned in to the motherfucking Ambition Hour podcast on Worth the Wait Radio. You ready?
I got 5, 4.
Yo, and welcome to the Ambition Hour podcast. It's your girl, AuDii 3000, and this is episode 63! Yes, this is yet another WTW Saturday, and as you guys don't know what WTW Saturdays are, it's that we drop a new song, a new video, and a new podcast each and every single Sunday. This is episode 63, so that means we've been doing this for 63 weeks strong. God is good. It's actually been a little bit more than that because we've done episode 19 and a half and some other math that I did just for my own sake. But yeah, so welcome to episode 63. I did say that we dropped a new video and a new song today, and that is Dub On It by Have. The video came out and the song is available for you guys to listen to on SoundCloud. If you do not have our SoundCloud, it's Worth the Wait Radio, which is WTW Radio. So make sure that you search for us on SoundCloud and you get that new song that we drop each and every single week. Want to give a shout out to all the people that listen to us on Apple, who watch us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify or wherever it is that you may be listening to us. We appreciate you wherever you may be. I'm very excited. This is a solo episode. I love solo episodes. They're like my favorite. I've expressed this, and it's mainly because I get to feel like I get to have a conversation where I can just say what I want, express how I feel without like any I don't like to hold back on here. I don't like to hold back in general, but the fact that I have a platform that I cannot hold back on is just, it makes it good because I'm able to express a lot about how I feel about certain things. So make sure that you join the WTW family by subscribing to the YouTube channel or to wherever it is that you listen to us to. That way you get notified every time we drop something and you part of notification gang. If you want all things WTW, all you have to go is to the website, which is WTWrecords.com. I swear I'm gonna get it right one day because your girls, I be getting tongue tied. I'm still new at this. We're only 63 episodes in, so I can only imagine, episode 100. I'm finally get the WTWrecords.com thing right. See, I got it right there, but your girl's not always perfect, and it's okay because we can be flawed in this earth and still strive. Bars. It's early in the episode. I'm really excited. So this past week was a little crazy. Okay, so last week we got to have Detta on the show, which was really exciting. I'm very happy to have had her because she is such a great energy. She's a mother. It was just being around her, how she was singing and getting to spend time with her. She's part of the WTW family. So just having her and being around her is just amazing. You guys get to see a part of her on the podcast. I can tell you that her soul and everything is the same off of the podcast. And we did get to touch a little bit on about Nipsey and his passing. And we did get to talk about it. I got to kind of express how I felt. But it's funny because you guys don't necessarily know what goes on behind the scenes. But around that time, something kind of shifted. So I felt like I didn't get to express myself fully with this whole Nipsey situation. And I also felt like it was kind of I don't know. It like I said, I like doing solo episodes because it's a little easier for me to express myself a little better. So, with this whole passing of Nipsey, my mind has been going in different directions. Number one, I lost my grandfather earlier this year in February. So death has already happened to someone that meant the entire world to me. This person, my grandpa, my abuelito, he would come, he would fly here, for our birthdays, graduations. If my mom missed him, he would come. So to have experienced a death like that in our family, especially so early on in the year, I was able to kind of be able to process death and the concept of it. So when I find out that Nipsey gets, that he got shot, this is not even that he had passed away. Literally an hour before, I was listening to Dedication, which is one of my favorite songs from the album, from Victory Lab. And that's like one of my favorite songs off of the album. So I was listening to that song and I was just thinking about how beautiful it is and how it's orchestrated and how Nipsey like sings in it and how it was really him who did that and how he practiced in order to get that, and that we were starting to learn the type of artist that he was, like, because of that album. And I remember listening to it when it first dropped. So I was listening to that song, and it's weird because an hour later, like, I'm home and I find out that he got shot, and then I find out that he ends up passing away. And I just remember feeling like I remember going to sleep that night and being like, this isn't true. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and it's not going to be real. Thankfully, the day after he passed away, I was off of social media. I was off of Instagram and Twitter. So I wasn't able to see like all of the things that people were saying about the death, about I heard that people were saying that, like, oh, now you want to be a fan, or now you want to this and that. And I just feel like nobody's really in charge of that. So, because we don't know what people, at the end of the day, like, I don't know what you listen to. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he was your favorite rapper or not. Like, for all I know, you've been listening to him for years. And now is when you're expressing, that you're a fan of his. And that's because he's passed away. You know what I mean? Like, there are some artists that I'm sure that I am fans of that I don't express. I listen to their music all the time. But I'm sure if they were to pass away, I would go ahead and post them. So, which I'm going to get a little bit into a little later, because it's all, I promise, it's all going to come together. Okay? It's all going to come together. So then that happens. His death happens. I'm off of social media. I don't see it. I go back on social media and I can't stop seeing anything Nipsey. His funeral just passed. His funeral was on Thursday. There's mixed emotions about it even being aired, which I had to like tell people that I've had conversations with, is that funerals have been aired before. So it's not like, because the person said it's the first time that has happened. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I remember when Princess Diana passed away. Like, I remember that, like, that, and that was like back in '96. Y'all wasn't outside for that. Like, like when Princess Diana passed away, like that was on TV and stuff like that. So people had like that whole narrative. My thing, what I didn't like was pretty much that people were like trying to sell the tickets, and then they were mad that people were trying to sell the tickets, but then you can see the funeral on Tidal and like some of these platforms, and it's just like you have to pay for those places. But later on I found out that Tidal had it for free. Like, you can watch it for free. You can watch it. You could have watched it anywhere for free, honestly. Like, if you didn't have BET, you could have gone onto their website. If you did, like, I think they were even putting it on the news, like on the news channels, because some people, when the post that they would post, it was like from the news. So the news was even putting this on, and it was kind of like the whole world almost stopped for this funeral. Like, that's at least how it looked like on social media, of course, because I was full at work. Ain't nothing stopped there. But I meant, like, like, it was like everybody was watching, because every time I would go on Twitter or every time I would go on Instagram, that's what it is. Of course, social media, this world that we live in, has made it a lot bigger, has made it more than what it is. He sold, like, the Staples Center. The only other person to have done that, well, I think he's been the second person to have a funeral at the Staples Center. The other person who did it was Michael Jackson. So, and to be just so beautiful, and for it to come out the way that it came out, and for all of the loving and support, like Jay-Z and Beyonce were there. Of course, we can't go an episode without talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce, but of course they were there with a part of the Hive, part of Jay's and hers. So they were there. One of the things that I wanted to share was, okay, so first of all, the son that Lauren has a son that she doesn't share with Nipsey. She shares with Lil Wayne. So his name is Cam, and he gave a really beautiful speech. He explained how he saw Nip in like his dream, and he expressed that, and it was so cute because he goes, "It was cool, I guess," and it just showed so much like innocence, and like how he like knew. I'm pretty sure he's maybe like 7 or 8 years old, and the way that he was able to articulate that dream, and how he was able to say it in front of everybody in the Staples Center, and knowing that this, that he lost his I guess his stepfather. Yeah, so he lost, and then this is somebody who he lived with, who, he shares how he called him killer, and just like a whole bunch of very touching moments that, like, oh, he's a little kid. I don't know. That's a, and then the son that he has with Lauren ends up grabbing the mic, and it was just so cute. And his daughter was like, didn't want to talk, and she's older, so she most likely understands what's going on. And so it's very, I would imagine that it's very hard for her. But so then the mother goes on, and if you didn't, or if you did watch it, one of the things that I did learn about his mother was she's a very smart woman. The things that I said about the funeral was that I learned a lot, I cried, and I laughed because there were some funny moments, and there was some, like, Nipsey's mom talked about veganism. She talked about a lot about spirituality. She talked about how now he has all the answers to life, and that he's in peace. She was calling on ancestors. Like, there's people who I'm sure who have never heard of this that were exposed to this type of culture at this funeral, and I think that is so beautiful. I did not grow up with anything about like ancestors calling, but I've heard of that, and I'm very aware that is something that, you know, people do when someone passes away, or even when they are in life, like they call on their ancestors for answers. And I think that is so beautiful because that means they know their ancestors, and I'm not deep into mine, so I find that so beautiful. And to have seen that being portrayed for everyone to see, because if they sold out Staples Center, I can only imagine the amount of people that were watching this and what was shared on social media. So she was beautiful. What she said and everything that she spoke about was beautiful. What the brother spoke, he said, I'm glad that he spoke because I feel like a lot of men were able to gain strength from his brother speaking. And then you had Lauren speak, the sister, and I just feel like everybody who has been praying for Nipsey and the family, and everybody who's been sending positive vibes to Nipsey and the family, I feel like we got a testament to what we've been putting out in the universe for them. Like, we got to see that at the funeral. We got to see their strength because all of us have just been putting that energy towards them and have been highlighting, you know, the person that Nipsey is. And so I'm just very happy that there was just so many positive vibes going to them, because in the funeral it definitely showed that they received that. Because, you know, whatever we give as a lot of people, you know, someone's going to get it. And in this instance, it was the family. Something that I do pray about and I would love is for the unity and everything that is going on right now in the hip hop culture, and even just in general, between everybody. Like, you know, my dad has asked me about Nipsey. He knows about what's going on now. You know, it's starting to become a bigger thing because people are starting to find out, and it's because there's so much stuff that Nipsey did that some of us never even knew that he did, and it's coming out into light right now. And I just want I want men and women alike to just learn so much from what he has done and what his thing were to do. And you don't have to like own your own, like, you know, he had his own like block, or like what is it, like a lot? It's a lot. Like, so he had like the store, he had everything. You don't have to own that, but you just have to become a better person, be nicer, helping what it is that you can help. You know, just, and even in the way that you speak to people, just like if the way that you're speaking to people, if that changes, then humanity can change just by you and the way that you speak to people. So yeah, so I will continue to say that very grateful for just the type of person that Nipsey was, and for everybody who has just been like putting out positive things, because I think that's the most important. Like, I saw somebody post a list of books that he has read. So that's something that is also opening up to people to reading, because they want to know, like, they're starting to find out the mind that this man had. And they're realizing that it's because he read the books that he read. So the books are being published. I'm actually going to share the books that he would read. I'm going to share them on the Ambition Hour podcast page for you guys to check out. Oh, by the way, the Ambition Hour podcast got a Twitter, baby. So make sure that you follow us on it's Ambition Hour. That's it. Ambition Hour on Twitter. Follow us. Follow me, AuDii_3000. On the same topic as with Nipsey. So Nipsey passes. I will not come on here and say I was the biggest Nipsey fan, that I listened to all his music. Have I listened to his music since his passing? Of course. I'm understanding it. I'm I'm understanding it on a different level right now because I heard the album when it dropped, but now I'm listening to it and I'm understanding it because I'm seeing the type of man that he once was and the content that he was putting out, and I'm seeing that it was very positive, and I'm very grateful that a lot of the men that are around me, this was their favorite album, because that means that this is the type of knowledge that they're getting and they're not getting some other BS. So one of the things that I think that is important is for a lot of you artists to take into consideration a lot of the lyrics that this man was putting out, and to pretty please acknowledge that your lyrics and words have power. So the lyrics that you are writing and the lyrics that you are putting out there, make sure that they're positive. Make sure that they're showing, entrepreneurship, that they're showing mental awareness, and that they're showing different things, because at the end of the day, when you are gone, that music is what's going to be left. And you don't want it to be something negative. You want it something that's going to uplift people, that's going to uplift a culture. So that's something that I feel that it needs to be learned from that. Another thing that I came into realization is that there are also rappers that we still have around, that are alive, that are doing good for their neighborhoods, that are doing good songs, that are doing entrepreneurship, that are doing what it is that they have to do to continue to build their brand, yet they're not being shined for. Like the artists that I think about, I wasn't the biggest Nipsey fan, but I am a really big Dom Kennedy fan. And so that's who I've been listening to lately, because I know the type of, rapper that he is, and the type of artist that he is, and what he does in his community, and X, Y, and Z, and how he has his own, like, OPM. You know what I mean? Like, he has his own record company, and so, like, just, like, listening to him and kind of, like, just giving him that credit. The same goes for Currency. Currency is another rapper that I deem to be, he's very independent, and he's there for his community. He still lives in his community, and he's trying to uplift his community. So these are hometown heroes that we don't hear about, and we don't even not take care of, but we don't celebrate. We don't, I feel like their music just should be bigger than, some of these artists that are out right now. Like, these are artists that that are just doing so much, and they don't get the credit that they deserve until they pass away. And we need to change that, because these artists are doing good now. They're putting out good music now. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's just so important. So I wanted to give a big ups to Currency and Dom Kennedy. It made me want to shed light on someone who has done so much for Miami, the boss from fucking Miami, who has just been, like, shedding so much light on everything that it is that, like, is to be from Miami to the world. And that is the boss, Rick Ross. I just wanted to shed, like, I literally have been in love with Rick Ross for I don't know how long. So for people to because I know Nipsey had a lot of respect for him, and they call him, like, they kind of, like, not compare them, but, like, they say that he's, like, the Nipsey Hussle of Miami or something like that. And first of all, he's Rick Ross from Miami, Carroll City to be exact. And so I wanted to shed light on him because I feel like he is from where I'm from. He's from my hometown. I wanted to like give him his flowers while he is still here. Give him his flowers while he's still here, and kind of just like shed light on the fact that, come on, this dude, he's hometown hero. And what did he do here? He ended up getting a Checkers franchise. He ended up doing Wingstop. He has Maybach Music. He's the one who took Meek Mill's career to a whole nother level, as well as Wale's and Stally and some other couple of artists as well. I mean, when he does features with Jay-Z, like, it's insane. And shout out to my brother Philly, who's out in Philly. He was the one who put it on his Twitter, talking about how Rick Ross and Nipsey had some really good songs together. So that made me go back and listen to some of the songs that they had together, and it just made me appreciate Ross even more, that he was doing this type of music with Nipsey. So one of the things that I decided to do, and shout out to Hav be giving me some good questions and like good things to be talking about. I swear if it wasn't for Hav, I'd be boring. That's not true, but we gonna give him that credit. Shout out to Hav and Spitz in the building. Did I shout you guys out already? They out here with me. I just had to, one more time for the gang. Dub Saturdays, we in this bitch. Oh, I did not want to forget if I didn't say it earlier, but House with Jones is dropping on 420, which is next week. So make sure that you are on the lookout for that when we drop it, the promo and everything. You on it like the faithful fans that you guys are of us. Thank you for that. And okay, so back to Rick Ross and his awesome things. What Hav kind of suggested was we need to have this conversation of the best Ross album. So in doing so, I decided to come up with this question that it was just like, what's your favorite Ross album? Because in order to have that conversation, we need to know what Rick Ross albums are the best. So in there we have Trilla, we have Port of Miami. There you go. Shout out to Hav. God Forgives I Don't. Teflon Don, and there was Mastermind, Deeper Than Rap, Trilla. I said Trilla. Trilla's a good one. So pretty much what I ended up asking the people on Instagram. Shout out to everybody who follows me, my personal page, AuDii Ambition. Shout out to everybody who follows the Ambition Hour podcast page on Instagram. I see you, I feel you, I love your energy. Thank you for the engagement and everything. We have a Twitter. Shout out to the Ambition Hour podcast Twitter. It's just Ambition Hour on Twitter. Make sure that you find us there, follow us, and I got back on my personal Twitter and don't know how to act, so having two Twitters is gonna be funny to me. Okay, so it was like, what is your favorite Rick Ross album? And I got Teflon Don, and what I did is I shared my favorite song from there, and it was MC Hammer. Now I was in between MC Hammer and I'm gonna have to pull up this album. I was in between the MC Hammer and the one that comes right after that song, BMF, Blowing Money Fast. Because man, that's a really those two songs are really good. And then with Trilla, the Maybach one that he has with Jay-Z, that's just a dope song. So all of just the fact that these people are like giving me their favorite Ross albums, I start listening to like all of Ross's albums. So I literally listen every album that everybody said. I listened to those albums and like remember like, oh man, I remember around this time what was going on. And like with Port of Miami, like that was one that gave us the anthem, which is Hustling. Like every day I'm hustling. Like you think about it, that now like that's the music that we kind of grew up on and that's what we were listening to. So it's no wonder that a lot of people now in this generation, at least my generation, we're more into this hustle mode because we had hustlers who were rapping about hustling, who were kind of showing us a game, who were telling us, like, not play by play, but they were giving us, like I said, they were giving us game on how to become your own business owner, to have your own company and to work. And they were clearly talking about their lives before rapping when they were talking about hustling. But, they taught us something within their music. So so my favorite album is God Forgives I Don't. I remember staying up till 12 that day to listen to the album. I bought it on iTunes because Apple Music didn't exist back then. I bought it on iTunes and I listened to the album and I remember being like, oh, this is some sick shit. Like I remember waking up the next day and listening to it and just being like, yo, this album, like, I don't know. And that album, because he just has so many good songs in that album. Like he has Diced Pineapples, that call me crazy shit, at least you call it. Hey, me and Ha was talking about how that song goes hard. And we were talking about this before the whole Rick Ross conversation even happened between us. It was just like, yo, that song, because I think I heard it. Some shit happened that I was like heavy. I mentioned it to him and we just started having that conversation. And so that's funny because I noticed that everybody that I am super close with, I always end up talking to music about them. I was on the phone with my best friend yesterday. Shout out to G, who lives in Gainesville. G in Gainesville. Haha, that's funny to me. Shout out to him. I was talking to him and we ended up talking about music shit. So it's pretty cool. I love that. And okay, so the God Forgives I Don't is definitely in the conversation when it comes to one of Rick Ross's best albums. So now what I want to do is I want the list of the CDs that I got. I kind of want to like do a little just listen to them thoroughly, kind of maybe include the boys into it and kind of like really break down on what is Rick Ross's best album. I would love to get some insight of some of the people that come on the show. If you're watching us, comment in the comment section below which is your favorite Ross album. Which one do you think is the best Rick Ross album? Because there's a difference. Which one is your favorite and which one is the best? Those two, sometimes I can always argue is the same. like my favorite one is the best one, and it's like because you ain't gonna tell me like which one is the best one. Like that's why debates are so good, and that's why I stay out of them because to me it's gonna always be like you're not going to take me out of that. But I would love to hear your favorite. Which one is your favorite, Spitz?
Is God Forgive I Don't is the one with Ice Pineapples on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of mine.
It's because it's a really good He even got Andre 3000 on that project.
16. That
16
one also has
And the Maybach one, the Maybach music song, Amsterdam Presidential, bro, Presidential.
So Sophisticated.
I think he has a track list. So Sophisticated was a good one. Just the whole track list, like he had the Maybach music alone, like that one. I think it had like 4 or 5 different instrumentation changes in that one song. That song is beautiful. It's the one with Neo. Like I'm listening to it's so funny because I'm listening to it in my head and I'm just like remembering when I heard it and just feeling the way that I felt. And then that was what's awesome is that is that your favorite one, Spitz?
Well, there's what's the other one like after that? He has the one was like him and
Mastermind.
I think it's Mastermind. I think it's Mastermind. He has a song with The Dream.
But The Dream, like you put The Dream on any song and it's just like dope.
But that whole I think it is Mastermind because like it's a lot of records. Like when I was listening to it, I just played it and like every record on there was like
it was good.
It was good, and then I fell upon that one with The Dream, and that was like one of my favorite ones. I can't remember the name of that song with him in The Dream, but I play that shit every day.
After that album, that's when me and Hav met him. We stood in line at Wingstop. And we got to meet him. That was like one of the coolest moments ever of my life. I'm going to meet Rick Ross again one day, and I'm just going to remember that moment. And I'm gonna be like, I always knew I was gonna have a cooler moment with you because I did not have a cool first moment with Rick Ross. It's just because I'm just so awkward. So
like, first time I met you, man, you didn't give me no lemon peppers, dog.
You dumb because they wasn't even giving food out like that. Which was your favorite, Hav?
Same, God Forgives I Don't.
Yeah, Hav's favorite is God Forgives I Don't as well. It's funny, I have a poster signed by him with the cover of the album. Like, it's real out here in these streets. Like, I like I said, I bought the album. So I would love to hear your guys' intake on what is your favorite Rick Ross album, if you even like Rick Ross. If you know anything about him that I did not mention that you feel should be honored, or let me know which one of your favorite rappers that you've been listening to lately and you feel needs to get more shine for all that they have done for their community, the music they're putting out, the positivity and everything like that. I felt like those 3 artists this week were artists that I had to shine on because they're artists that I admire very, very much. Another one I'll give Wiz Khalifa. Shout out to Wiz. I remember back in like when he was coming out, just listening to what he was doing and wanting to be like, yo, I want something like that. I want my own. I want like the whole Taylor gang and like, you know what I mean? Like it was always like something like that. And that's why when you see Dub T Dub, that's what you kind of see. You kind of, because we come from that era to where it's like the Wiz Khalifa, the Dom Kennedy, the Currency, even Rick Ross, and also seeing Drake. Like it's deeper than rap sometimes. Like that's what I feel. Some people don't get, I guess. Okay, so I'm sorry, I just saw something that I really wanted to share real quick. I guess going back to this whole situation with Nipsey's passing, something that it taught me very much is that to just do what you want to do, be a good person, and become the best person that you can be, and to just chase your dreams. After hearing that he came up, like he built his own computer when he was like 12 years old, and the same computer that he built, he was able to record like some of his, like he was able to record songs off of it. And something that it taught me very deeply is that when it's for you, and nothing and nobody, and not the only person who can stop it is you and God. Because if it's for you, it's meant for you and it's going to happen. So you just have to have a lot of faith in that. You have to have a lot of faith in what it is that you truly believe it is that you want to do. And also bring different aspects into that. Like, he was a rapper, but he did so many other things. And just because, like, for me, I want, like, my podcasting and media and interviewing and all that stuff, that I've been doing that since I was 12 years old. It's in me. Like, there's nothing that I can do. There has been things that I have done to try to get me away from wanting to do this. You know what I mean? That I thought that my life was going to be different. I thought that I wasn't going to be doing what I am doing today. I thought that there was going to be a life without this. And for it to come back full circle into my life, and for it to be happening the way that it's been happening, and for me to be able to have the guests that I have had, and for me to make the connections that I have had, it's because it's for me. And nothing and nobody can stop that. So that's something that I learned that's really, really big and was really heavy. And I had to make sure that I'm sorry that I brought it back to the funeral, but I had to, because that's what it taught me. Not taught me, but it kind of just like, it's like a really big reminder that, one, we have only one life to live, and two, that we are the only ones that are in charge of how it's going to be. So if somebody tells you something differently, like something that I was saying, that if it has something to do with my company, I'm not doing it. Unless, like, if it's something that's going on with my company, with the podcast, with the music video, with the studio session, with a photo shoot, whatever it is, if it is something to do with that, I'm not doing it. It's my responsibility. So yeah, so this weekend is Coachella, but before we get into what Coachella is, I wanted to shout out this big ass documentary that Beyonce is coming out with on Netflix, which I think is insane, because if you know me personally, you know that I've seen the Beychella performance about 1 million times. I recently saw it probably like 2 weeks ago because I recorded it on my phone. That's why they posted the full performance on YouTube of Beychella, I don't know how many times, and ask the boys how many times I've been disappointed that they have taken it off. Shout out to my brother, Hav, who told me one day, he's like, excuse me, he's like, you need to screen record that shit. And so I did. And because I screen recorded it, I can watch it whenever I want. And I always want to watch it because, I don't know, man. That shit was just epic. There was just so much, she just made so much history in so many ways. And she showcased, the Black culture in such a beautiful way. And she, like her coming out dressed as a queen and like an empress, you can say, like, it was just so beautiful. And I, as a woman, just watching it, just felt so empowered just by watching it and seeing the transitions and seeing, her having the marching band and then her having the girls, like, the color guard girls. Like, I just, like, went back into that, and like just thinking about like even like the FAMU and like the seeing that, like just seeing that because growing up in Florida, you see that, you see FAMU, you see the other schools that do that. Like it was just beautiful. And then like the whole drum line, and I love it. It was beautiful. So I can see now why that freaking Beyonce and everybody was just so adamant about taking the freaking Beychella off of YouTube, because they were coming out with the fucking documentary. They don't want that footage out because, listen, we're about to be coming out with some cool shit that y'all gonna enjoy, that y'all gonna get all y'all answers about. Like, it's 2 hours. It's coming out on the 2/17. I'm so excited. I mean, 4/17. I'm not getting paid for this, but, Beyonce, if you see this video and you want somebody who's always going, just saying. Just saying. Y'all see how big I dream that I think that Beyonce's gonna watch this one day. Be like, she's the one that I need to be telling all my performance shit and stuff. Hey, you never know. That's how Chloe and Halle got discovered on YouTube. So hey, babe. Hey, Jay. How y'all doing? Okay, so let me get out of La La Land for a second. I'm back. Okay, so I looked this way and I went back into La La Land because I started thinking about, I was looking over here now. Okay. I just got really excited because I really wanted to see this. And it's just an inside look. It's behind the scenes. It's a lot of cool shit. And I think that it's really dope. I'm really excited. I won't watch it when it drops. It's funny because the Beyhive is a whole nother thing that I respect fully, because they were the reason why I knew that they were at the funeral. Like, like it was like a blurry ass picture that they posted of JC and Beyonce, but you knew it was them. And if it wasn't for the Beyhive, we wouldn't have known. Okay, so they're put all the times on when it drops, because it drops in 2/17, but it drops at different times. It drops like at different time zones, I guess. So they had like a full schedule of like what time it was going to drop in your time zone. That's talent. I wish people would put a lot more effort into other things than letting us know, because it drops on the 4/17. Whenever you watch it, you watch it. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it probably when I get home from work that day, or no, I won't. You see how excited I'm getting that I can't even do the podcast right now. I'm like planning my day right now of like what I'm gonna do when this fucking Beyonce Netflix special finally fucking drops. Like, it's been a year since she did this performance, and we've been itching to see. So there's like footage of the babies. I am overwhelmed right now. I need to relax. I need to like take a sip out of my water because I'm just way too excited for what's about to go down. And we're back from, the Ambition Hour podcast break. Oh, before, I do want to recommend you guys to drink your water and mind your business, because the skin glows a lot better and things in life just get a lot better when you drink your water. And make sure there's Ambition Hour podcast water. If you want some Ambition Hour podcast water, make sure that you hit us in the DM and I got you. I got cases. You know what I mean? If you want to sponsor me with bottles, I take that too. But yeah, so that was the most bootleg commercial of the Ambition Hour pod. I'm going to do a better one, I promise, because that's something I've been thinking about. Okay, so into Coachella. So Coachella is this weekend, and I'm very happy because I, as a person who does not like people and crowds, can watch it in my room at the comfort of my own home. And I got to see some of the performances today. Shout out to YouTube and T-Mobile, I guess. I have T-Mobile, so, hey, they're the ones who, listen, T-Mobile and YouTube came together and joined forces, and they thought this thoroughly and made sure that we got the experience of Coachella like we were there. And I appreciate them very much for doing that, because, like I said, I don't even like being around people, so the fact that I can watch Coachella on my couch, I think is cool. It's crazy because the fact that Coachella is back, it just means that it's been a year since Burgundy dropped. Hey. Burgundy is JAVs' album. We can call it debut album, correct? It's debut album. I've heard his first album. That was back in the Dizzy, and that album was dope. So to have seen him in this 1 year since that album has dropped, I want to come on here and give my flowers to JAV, because I feel that project was very, very good. We got it on Apple. It's on Spotify, SoundCloud, music videos, everything that he has just accomplished with Burgundy. I remember being in the mixing sessions. I remember being in the sessions when he was recording the songs. I remember hearing the project, and I remember just feeling some type of way about it because it was so good. And to me, like, I just, it was National Siblings Day the other day, and I was just going through my phone because I wanted to just empower this young king that I get to experience this journey with, and just to see him like perform, and to see him like promote the album, and for him to see like studio sessions, and to see like him flourish into not being camera shy, and just being super, super confident. I just wanted to commend him and everything that he has done. He does so much for the company. Like, it's insane. I live with the boys, so I know what he does for the company, how he thinks about the company, how he feels, everything, the blood, sweat, and tears that he puts into not just his projects, but everybody's project and the podcast is just amazing. So happy 1 year anniversary.
Thank you. Love
to
you.
Burgundy. I'm getting a love you on camera. Yeah, because next week it will be the anniversary, but we're going to be celebrating House of Jones, which is House of Jones is... I've been hearing a House of Jones since I've met Spitz. And I've known Spitz for it's been like 8 years or something like that. So this is a project that I've been hearing about for a very long time, and I'm just so excited that it's dropping. So that's what we'll be celebrating next week. But happy 1 year anniversary to Burgundy. You have given me so many memories. Shout out to Temptations, which is my favorite song on the track. But Plan B is also my other favorite track. Plan B just puts me in a whole different mindset. Y'all make sure that y'all go stream that project. We should get on the charts, you guys. Oh, and also make sure that you guys if you haven't, we already dropped another project this year, which is La Vita e Bella by Spitz. Whole project is a banger. I bought that album.
I bought it twice.
Spitz bought it twice. What kind of type of scamming deals you doing that you can buy the album 2 times? He got 2 different emails and shit.
I didn't like how one of the songs was spelled, so I bought it again.
Oh! Oh, you know what? I need to do that. It's funny because you guys don't know what goes behind when you drop a project and all the fucking shit that happens in the behind the scenes, and like it's really not important because at the end of the day the project is out and it is dope and y'all need to go stream it wherever the fuck it is that you listen to music, because the album is dope. We dropped a video for Friend Zone, which is amazing. Shout out to Ishi, shout out to Flight, shout out to girls who were in that video. What else am I getting into this episode? I'm looking at my notes. I actually wrote notes this time because your girls sometimes be forgetting what the fuck you want to talk about with y'all.
Shirts available for purchase too.
Oh yeah, we have La Vita e Bella shirts available. We have red ones. We have the white ones that me and Spitz wore. Yeah.
Yeah, only the white ones.
We only have the white ones available. Sorry, Spitz got an exclusive on that I guess I'm not available to either. So.
Let it ride.
Anywho, so yeah, so you guys saw this. Me and Spitz were wearing the shirts, so we have those available on WTWrecords.com. And you guys can get there. You guys can go there and get the dub capsule. Now the dub capsule, let me tell you, the dub capsule is very, very, very good for my medicine that I need. It stores it, it keeps it fresh. You know, you don't want to be taking your medicine and that shit's just all like stale and shit. You don't want that. You want something that's gonna protect your medicine. And if you know what medicine I'm talking about, that you know. I mean, yeah. But the dub capsule, I just wanted to say that because I went out on Sunday and it kept my medicine nice and fresh and away from me smelling like my medicine. Okay. So yeah, so make sure that you head on over to the website and get whatever the fuck it is that you want. That is dub because we got a whole bunch of shit that's there. We got sweaters, we got shirts, we got dub capsules, we got everything dub. Okay. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, all money in, right? So, you know, we sold a couple sweaters and get this thing popping and everything is all cool. Okay, so it's funny because Keeping on Kardashians came back. I haven't gotten in my Keeping on Kardashians bag in a minute. That's because we haven't had any new episodes. I'm really excited. Kanye was on this episode. Kanye is on the show. Spitz didn't know that, and I'm very happy. Yes, Kanye is like doing the commentary with Kim and like is sitting next to Kim and like they ask him questions and he's responding and he's like actually and then he's like actually like he's really funny. I was telling how the story about how, you know, because the conversation, and one of the things that I really love about them is that they communicate very respectfully. It's never like, because I've seen some like arguments on reality TV and like they try to make it so like dramatic, I guess for the dramatic effect of what it is, you know, like so like reality TV or whatnot. But like they're very calm, like and that's how they are, like because they were having like I can't say it was an argument because they weren't. I never got the impression that they were arguing, but they were having a conversation about something that was that both of them were very passionate about. Cause okay, so it's Kim. Kim is very passionate about what Rhymefest was saying about. So we get to see this play out, like, on the show. Like, the whole Rhymefest and Kim beef that was going on, you know, a while back, with Drake and, like, all that shit. So, like, what Rhymefest... So we're getting to see that play out and how she's being very defensive. And she's just like, no, like, you're my husband. Like, why is he talking crazy like that? Like, that, like... And then Kanye is just like, you know, it's just love. Like, it's love. It's... Like, we just, like, I love him. Like, that's my brother. Like, it doesn't matter. And she's just like, yeah, but I'm not nice like that. Like, why am I going to be nice like that? Like, they're being disrespectful to you. And then you end up seeing, like, Rhymefest come on the show. And he, like, ends up talking to Kim. Kim ends up letting him know, like, yo, this is what it is that you were doing. But so then back to the conversation that him and Kim are having. They're having this conversation with North in the car. Yeah, they're having this conversation with North in the car. And I'm seeing that, and as a woman who grew up in a household where communication wasn't that good between my parents, I guess, like, just seeing that and then seeing how they were communicating in front of their child, I just commended that very well. I know that it's not just my household. We've all grown up around, parents that can't communicate that well because they can barely communicate with us. That's just a reality. That's one of the cycles that I'm trying to break. Shout out to my mom and my dad. Love you guys. But it's funny because I'm sharing that and I'm thinking, like, I'm hearing my mom be like, yo, stop telling people shit. Like, my mom be getting me about some things, whatever. That's funny. But yeah, so just the way that they communicate with each other, I just felt like it was so cool. And one of the stories that I was telling Hav was that because Kanye wanted to move to Chicago, and he was saying how Chicago is home and how, X, Y, and Z. And then so it was just funny because she's just like, when I go to Chicago, everybody's just like, that's Kanye. Like, yay, yay. It's like my name is Kanyay when I'm in Chicago. Like, because people are just so excited to see me. And it's like, because I'm home, because, like, everybody knows that I'm from Chicago. He's like, when I'm in LA, it's like, I'm just yay. And then Kim is just like, no, when you're here, it's just like, that's Kim Kardashian. And it was just the best thing because, like, you could tell that they probably, like, roast on each other. Like, I loved seeing that. I love seeing that because you don't get to see that side of Kim. Like, and then they end up doing the 73 questions, and it was just so cute because, Kanye is there with the baby, and he's just like, I don't know why y'all feel this way that y'all feel about Kanye. Like, I don't know. I just love everything that, like, he does. I mean, of course, there's certain things that I don't like that he has said and that he has done. But I try not to hold a lot of these artists to a certain standard because I'm not perfect, and I myself have said things that I probably shouldn't have said that you can probably go back, and please don't go back and check in this podcast that I have said that you probably don't agree with. But I would never want you to hold that against me because I am a growing human being, and I'm constantly growing, and I'm constantly educating myself on things that I don't know because I want to understand. One of the reasons why I watched the Nipsey Hussle funeral was because I'm so curious. I'm curious as fuck. That's part of the reason why this podcast is popping. Because I'm so curious. And I just indulge myself in whatever it is I don't want to talk to you guys about. Or even just the artists that come on. Like, I'm very curious about the artists and why they listen to the music they listen to and who they grew up on. And what at age 17, what advice would you give yourself? And, like, it's just... There's just so much that my mind as a curious person goes through. I'm a Gemini, so there's that. Shout out to this app that I have, CoStar. That app is dope. Make sure you get it. It always gives you some positive shit. I love it. Okay, so which brings me to one of my last things that I want to talk to you guys about. So something that I thought was cool was, like, the whole asking yourself questions. Like, but, like, good questions. Like, and okay, because I wanna say it how I was thinking about it. Because, okay, so I saw a tweet that says that it's Scotty B. So she's talking about how she's like writing down a whole bunch of questions, etc. And so that puts me into the perspective of, like, first of all, that sounds like a lot of fun because asking yourself questions, like, get to answer them. You have to answer them, you know what I mean? So then I'm like, okay, but you don't want to ask yourself a whole bunch of bad questions because when you ask bad comes, your mind goes into another realm that you don't want it to go into. You want your mind to be into a constant growing. So I decided that I wanted to start doing this whole question thing of where I would ask myself positive questions. I haven't started it yet, but it's something I wanted to share with you guys because I feel that you guys can learn from that and you guys can kind of, like, take that and put it into your life. As far as asking yourself questions like, where do I see myself in 5 years? Where do I see myself in 10 years? What type of partner do I want to be? Not the partner that you want, the type of partner that you want to be. Because it doesn't start with the person that you're with. It starts with you. Okay? So now I'm gonna put that to the side because that's something that I do want to talk about. But just, like, ask yourself questions. Like, how long do I plan on staying on my job? How long do I plan on staying at my job? How long do I plan to save for? What am I saving for? What is the, the next business move that I want to get into? What is it that I want to invest in? What is the next book that I want to read? Like, you hear how these questions that I'm asking, they're like, they're a question that's going to make you think and make you come up with an answer. Because when you hear a question like, where do I see myself in 5 years? You start thinking like, well, damn, where do I see myself in 5 years? And I'm like, rich in a motherfucking mansion. That's where I see myself. Or, it's funny because I say that, but I'm saying that because I'm being like extra. And if you personally know me, then you just know I'm a little extra. But one of the things the reason why I say rich in a mansion is because to me that equals the level of success that I've been wanting. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to being rich in a mansion, that means that I did a lot of work to get there. That means that my whole team is living good. That means that the people around me are living good. That means that my parents are living good. That means that, like, there's a lot of meaning to me having a mansion and being rich. You know what I mean? Or, like, living, in a nice little spot in downtown or whatnot, because that's what your girl's trying to do. The more and more that I think... I was about to go into a single girl tangent. I was about to go into my single girl bag right now. Yeah. It's because I'm thinking about, like, living in, like, what is it, in Biscayne? In Brickell. Key Biscayne, like, with a nice little view of the arena. Get to walk to the games. Bruh, I'm so sad. Wade is not playing anymore. Dwayne Wade. Like, House says we need a moment of silence for that, and I think it's true. We gonna get it when in a little bit, because I just wanted to say I didn't grow up going to a whole bunch of Heat games. I actually went to my first Heat game this year, and shout out to House because he's the reason why I got to go to the tickets. So shout out to House, to little big brother who be hooking your girl up with some tickets and shit. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so he was I got to go to my first Heat game, and Hav told me, he's just like, yo, I don't know, Dwayne Wade's gonna ball out today. And I was just like, oh really? I hope so. And let me tell you, I've been watching Dwayne Wade play since he came to the Heat. Why? Because it was the Flash, it was this, it was that, and then in 2006 we end up getting Shaq. I'm just so excited about Wade. Everybody's Wade to me right now. So we end up getting Shaq. Then Shaq comes. They end up winning a championship. I remember being in California when these games were happening, and I was so sad that I wasn't going to be able to be in Miami because they were going to have a Heat parade. I wanted to be at the Heat parade. Look, so then I got to go to the game. I got to experience it. Dwayne Wade played so well that game. That was the game that they played against Atlanta, the Hawks. And when I tell you that from the moment that Dwayne Wade stepped on the court to the end, that man played like 06 Wade. The Wade that I wanted to see. Like, that's how he played. And then that's when it was funny because that's when I actually discovered the whole One Last Dance thing. And I got to see the One Last Dance come into fruition pretty much because his last game, he had like nice shoes. Bro, the Budweiser commercial that they had your girl crying at the office. I was boo-hoo crying. My coworker walks in. I'm over here wiping my tears away because Dwayne Wade is another person who has just done so much for the community in Miami. Actually, just all of South Florida. We got to hear 5 different stories that we probably had never heard about. Because there's just so many of them since he's been traded. That commercial was just beautiful. And then, seeing his wife there, the baby there, they finally get the baby. And it's just like, we just kind of like grew up with Wade, like always playing basketball. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, he's been so a part of all of our lives, especially if you're a basketball fan. I can't say I'm the biggest basketball fan, and this is not a basketball podcast, but your girl loves basketball. And I have always watched the game for as long as I can remember. Shout out to my dad for that. And so, I pretty much have grown up watching him play. So for it to be his last time playing and all this stuff, I know Spitz was crying. And I know his do-rag. Somewhere crying in a do-rag. But my dog's waves is clean, so I can't even be mad at the do-rag game. But with the tears. And I'm not do-rag shaming either. Kings, make sure you wear your do-rags. Listen, King, you wear that do-rag and you get them waves right. Listen. You know what I was just thinking about, Spitz? Me and Spitz were having a conversation earlier about Morris Chestnut and Michael Ealy. Why did we start talking about that? Y'all don't be know. Y'all don't be knowing that the conversations before the pod. The conversations before the podcast are a reason why they're before the podcast. So back to Wade. Shout out to Wade. Thank you for everything that you have done for Miami. How did I get into Wade? What was I talking about before? I know I was talking about, okay, so something that I did want to talk about was the whole, like, what type of partner you want to be. So a lot of the times we talk about how, so I want my man to be this, and I want him to be this, and I want him, it's bad that I'm using women as an example, I guess, but I'm a woman, so as a woman, I know that I have been the person to be like, I want my man to be this, I want him to not do this, I want him to this, I want this in a relationship, and that. This sounds like a song now, but as I am getting older and I am starting to come into realization that I actually do want a relationship. Y'all must be so tired of me about talking about, like, if I do or do not want a relationship, but y'all don't know what goes on in a Gemini's mind. It's rough in here. This mind of mine be like, girl, you don't need no man. And then maybe 2 days later, it's just like, but I just want to be loved. I want to be in a relationship. And so I've noticed that as of late, I've been a lot more open to, like, dating. Your girl's been open into that because I know I had to come into realization that it was not a relationship that I was afraid of. It was me having to be vulnerable in a relationship and me being afraid of one. You know what I mean? And then so that's why I said that whole question of, like, what type of partner you want to be. So I was expecting a man to come into my life and be very vulnerable and tell me about his struggles and tell me about what I can help him through or what cycles he's trying to break and all of this stuff. But I would probably not be willing to do the same thing. So why? Because I'm still struggling with that with myself. So how do I expect to have my partner be very vulnerable with me and expressive with me and talk to me about whatever it is that he's feeling if I'm not even willing to do that with myself? Like, fuck with another person. Like, with myself, there's parts of me that, like, I just ignore. And I be just like, that didn't happen. Or, you know, like, there's hollow parts of you in your mindset, in your heart, in your spirit that you just don't want to share with people. But in a relationship, I feel like in a good relationship, at least what I want from my partner is I want that to be able to be spoken of. I want my partner and I to be able to talk about those type of things because I want him to understand, like, look, this is why I may be a little, what are you gonna say, crazy? Because your girl ain't crazy. I'm very sane. Just a little outspoken. I'm just a little outspoken.
Attitude.
And attitude. I don't have an attitude. It's just I'm very outspoken and I'm just gonna say how I feel and how I feel it. And I feel like I shouldn't have. It's funny because, bro, man, this week was just interesting. I found out that I wasn't calm this week, and after having 2 conversations with people, I have to come into a full decision that I am not calm. As much as I try to meditate, as much as I burn sage, as much as I listen to music, I am not calm because I'm always moving. And then I read up the definition of what calm meant, and this is where I'll wrap it up. Calm was pretty much like what I got the definition was that it's like a go-getter. Like a person who is not calm is not that they're not a go-getter, but that's just how I felt. Like I have so much passion in me, I cannot be calm. Like I cannot be calm. Like there is so much that I want to accomplish that being calm is not a part of it. And the only way that these dreams and shit are gonna come the way that I want them to come is like by just going out there and getting it. And of course, with going out there and getting it, just like with anything else, there's going to be anxiety, there's going to be fears, there's going to be excitedness, there's going to be anticipation, there's going to be so many things that do not equate to calm. But it's okay, because when your girl makes it, we gonna be going to these like nice little spots where your girl can calm down a little bit. And you know, I do as much as I can. I feel, it's funny because I feel like I'm calm, but I'm not calm. Definition wise, I'm not calm. As far as like calm, I am. So if we look at the technical term, I'm not. But if we look at how I live my life and the way that, and the things that I do and what the things that I practice, I am very calm. So with that being said, make sure that you're asking yourself questions. Make sure that you're asking yourself the right questions. Make sure that you appreciate the people that are around you. Make sure that you appreciate, you know, people who are doing really great things in your community, and see how it is that you could help them, or even or even people that you follow that are doing businesses, that are just chasing what it is that you want to do. It costs $0 to repost something on your story. It costs $0 to post anything on your Instagram. The least that you can do to show anybody any support is doing that. There is other things that you can do to support your local artists who maybe are selling shirts, who are selling merchandise. Like, listen, this is $1 and a dream. We all start somewhere. Just because we don't all have the same goals and the same visions for our lives, it doesn't mean that we cannot support one another. So yeah, so make sure that you guys go ahead and prepare for House of Jones that's dropping next week. Make sure that you go ahead and check out the new video that we dropped, which is dub on it. There's dub on it by Hav. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. And with that being said, this is your girl AuDii 3000. This is episode 63 of the Ambition Hour podcast, and we with Hav and Spitz are out.